मुझे तो माँ गंगा ने बुलाया है।
Welcome to a special edition of Inside. We have reached the end of another power-packed year politically, and the BJP has clearly made amends in more ways than one for the results of 2024. Not that they were necessarily a setback, because the BJP continues to lead the ruling coalition at the centre. But the party itself lost its majority in the Lok Sabha polls last year. Our last show of 2025 focuses on how the BJP managed to turn it around and how the opposition simply lost the plot.
On June 4, 2024, when the results of the Lok Sabha elections were announced, the BJP would have celebrated a verdict that gave the NDA a mandate to govern India for the third successive term. But at the same time, there would have been a touch of disappointment at the party not having secured a majority on its own. After all, the BJP had been talking about 400 पार.
और मैं देशवासियों का दोबारा दोहराना चाहता हूं, अगर आप 10 घंटे काम करेंगे तो मोदी 18 घंटे काम करेगा। आप 2 कदम चलेंगे तो मोदी 4 कदम चलेगा। हम भारतीय मिलकर चलेंगे, देश को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। तीसरे कार्यकाल में देश बड़े फैसलों का एक नया अध्याय लिखेगा। और ये मोदी की गारंटी है।
The BJP won 240 seats, 42 less than 2014 and 63 less than 2019. The Congress won 99 seats, 55 more than 2014 and 47 more than 2019. There was a sense in the India bloc, which was the opposition camp, that for the next 5 years they would be more effective in countering the government at the centre than the previous 10 years had allowed them. They also sensed that serious setbacks in the state of Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Maharashtra for the BJP owed much to the discontent amongst the electorate against the Modi-led NDA, something that they hoped that they would be able to cash in for the state assembly elections that lay ahead.
Let us not forget that the 2024 Lok Sabha elections also took place barely months after the Pran Pratishtha ceremony of the Ram Mandir. This event, many believed, would galvanize the masses to vote for the BJP across the country. But that wasn't the case. Perhaps the BJP was complacent. Perhaps it had underestimated the impact of the opposition's own narrative of what it claimed was the BJP's design to change the constitution if it came to power.
But the BJP did introspect. It examined where it may have faltered and prepared hard for the next electoral test. The opposition, however, did not. The results of the state assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana proved just that. The BJP recorded thumping victories in both of those contests towards the end of 2024.
In the Congress, introspection should be there. Rahul Gandhi's vote chore, Adani and other Manrega problems, whatever he has been raising are all out of context. Therefore, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has to introspect. Otherwise, 2029 will be a doom year for Congress. My understanding is Rahul Gandhi should reshape himself and hand over the position to Madam Priyanka Gandhi. Otherwise, Congress will not be in its or fulcrum position to unite the opposition parties. Congress do introspection, ensuring that Karnataka, Telangana, Himachal Pradesh government should be, safe. Otherwise, if Rahul Gandhi is going to go out of the way, the three governments will be toppled by themselves. And whatever happened in Captain Amarinder Singh's tenure, that type of situation will happen. Congress has to introspect. If they have to win Kerala election, retrieve the Tamil Nadu from the 60 years of non-ruling Tamil Nadu. Therefore, Congress has to introspect. Meanwhile, BJP has brought in new leadership. Nitin Nabin as BJP's working president. They are introspecting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, JP Nadda have been giving lot of impetus to the organization. That is why they are winning year after year, election after elections. That is why I also say BJP has reached a position where no introspection is needed.
There were setbacks still for the BJP. Hemant Soren was able to steer the JMM alliance to victory in Jharkhand elections, and in Jammu and Kashmir, Umar Abdullah's National Conference came to power as part of an alliance with the Congress in the first state assembly elections there after the abrogation of Article 370. The last few months of 2024 showed clear-cut signs that the opposition unity was crumbling. In Haryana, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress fought separately owing to differences. In Jammu and Kashmir, the Congress almost dragged the coalition down with poor performance in Jammu.
पटना में एक फोटो सेशन चल रहा है। सारे विपक्ष के नेता एक मंच पर इकट्ठा हो रहे हैं और संदेश देना चाहते हैं कि हम भारतीय जनता पार्टी को, एनडीए को और मोदी जी को चैलेंज करेंगे। मैं सारे विपक्ष के नेताओं को एक कहना चाहता हूं, कितने भी हाथ मिला लो, आपकी एकता कभी संभव नहीं है।
मैंने मीटिंग में भी कहा, यह विचारधारा की लड़ाई है और इसमें हम सब एक साथ खड़े हैं। हम में जरूर थोड़ी डिफरेंसेस होंगी, मगर हमने ये निर्णय लिया है कि हम एक साथ काम करेंगे।
ये हास्यास्पद है कि एकजुट होंगे वो लोग जो राष्ट्र को ये संकेत देना चाहते हैं कि उनकी स्वयं की क्षमता मोदी जी के सामने विफल है। मैं विशेषतः कांग्रेस पार्टी का आभार व्यक्त करती हूं कि उन्होंने सार्वजनिक तौर पर यह घोषित कर दिया कि कांग्रेस नरेंद्र मोदी को हराने में अकेले नाकाम है, उन्हें सहारे की जरूरत है।
2024 की लड़ाई हमको लड़ना है और बीजेपी को सत्ता से बाहर करने का हम एक तय किए हैं।
हमारे देश में राजनीतिक गठबंधनों की एक लंबी परंपरा रही है, लेकिन जो भी गठबंधन नेगेटिविटी के साथ बने, वे कभी भी सफल नहीं हो पाए।
In Parliament too, while the opposition did put up resistance on multiple issues in 2024, it is not as if the centre's legislative agenda suffered. Yes, the centre, because of its reduced numbers, did have to play the waiting game, but take the example of amendments to the Waqf Act. The centre proposed sweeping changes. The matter went to a standing committee where all of the issues were deliberated for several months, and a report was submitted, and the amendments with the changes incorporated eventually passed and was signed into a law. The BJP leads a coalition that includes the Telugu Desam Party and the Janata Dal United, whose support is essential for the NDA to survive. And so far, the coalition compulsion have not interfered with the government's governance or the legislative agenda, unlike the experience of the UPA years. As the NDA consolidated its governance agenda, the BJP continued to expand its national footprint. The Aam Aadmi Party under Arvind Kejriwal had won 2 massive mandates in 2015 and 2020, but the next 5 years would prove turbulent. Kejriwal, while still serving as Chief Minister, was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate as part of its Ligergate investigation. Moreover, his credibility nosedived after Times Network's own expose about Sheesh Mahal, an opulent project for the Chief Minister's residence that belied claims of austerity. So when the elections came along in 2025, the BJP resurgent after 2024 blip upstaged the Aam Aadmi Party quite comprehensively to win Delhi for the first time since 1998.
Bharatiya Janata Party.
The Congress once again in Delhi and for the third consecutive assembly election registered a knot. And this was a sign of things to come.
कांग्रेस पार्टी के लिए सबसे बड़ी मुश्किल क्या थी? कांग्रेस पार्टी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अलावा अकेली पैन इंडिया पार्टी है। जब कांग्रेस के सामने भारतीय जनता पार्टी ऐसी थी तो वो मुद्दों पर देश के हर राज्य में अपने फुटप्रिंट यानी अपना विस्तार करने के लिए योजना बनाती थी, पार्टी के प्रोग्राम चलाती थी, वहां पर कैडर तैयार करती थी, लोगों को विचार से जोड़ती थी, मुद्दों पर आंदोलन करती थी, धरना प्रदर्शन करती थी और उसके बाद उसके बड़े नेता उस मोमेंटम को क्रिएट करके हर लोकसभा चुनाव में भुनाने की कोशिश करते थे। यहां कांग्रेस क्या करती है? यहां कांग्रेस पूरी तरह से सीन से गायब रहती है। राहुल गांधी लगातार विदेश यात्राओं पर रहते हैं। प्रियंका को अभी तक कोई काम ही इस तरह का नहीं मिला है कि वो कंसिस्टेंट हो पाए। कांग्रेस पार्टी के दूसरे नेताओं को लगता है कि अभी तो जो कुछ होगा राहुल गांधी अपने मन मिजाज से करेंगे और कम्युनिस्ट माइंडसेट के उनके एडवाइजर्स हैं जो पूरी तरह से भारत से जुड़े हुए नहीं दिखते, उनके आइडियाज, उनका जो भी प्रोग्राम है। और दूसरी उसमें बात क्या है कि कांग्रेस की जहां ताकत नहीं भी है, जैसे उदाहरण बिहार के लिए लें, बिहार में उनकी कोई ताकत नहीं थी लेकिन उन्होंने तेजस्वी को भी वोट अधिकार यात्रा के नाम पर वोट चोरी चिल्लाने को मजबूर कर दिया। जो दिख नहीं रहा है वो दिखाने की कोशिश की। अभी भी जो स्वीकार करना है, क्योंकि जब तक आप गलती नहीं स्वीकारेंगे सुधार नहीं कर सकते हैं। कांग्रेस और विपक्ष की सबसे बड़ी मुश्किल है कि उनको लगता है कि नरेंद्र मोदी और अमित शाह कुछ गड़बड़ करते हैं, ऐसा लोगों के दिमाग में डालकर वो जीत पाएंगे। लेकिन सच बात यह है कि जब तक आप अपनी जमीन नहीं तैयार करेंगे, स्थानीय स्तर पर अपने नेता नहीं तैयार करेंगे, कोई ऐसा एक रेगुलर प्रोग्राम नहीं होगा जिस प्रोग्राम को लेकर आप लंबे समय तक चले, जिससे जनता को लगे कि हाँ ये मुद्दा हो सकता है। और सबसे बड़ी बात, जनता के मुद्दों पर धरना प्रदर्शन, सरकार की नकेल कसना, उसमें नाकामयाब रहे हैं। सिर्फ ऐसी बातें जो जनता को लगता है कि यहां कोई दम नहीं है, जनता का विश्वास उन पर नहीं बन पा रहा है और इसीलिए लगातार कांग्रेस और उनके साथ जाने वाला हर विपक्षी दल गिरता है। लेकिन ध्यान से अगर देखिए, हेमंत सोरेन अपने मुद्दों पर टिके रहे, जीतते हैं। ममता बनर्जी अपने मुद्दों पर टिकी रही, जीतती हैं। और अगर देखें आप तो अरविंद केजरीवाल दिल्ली में भले हार गए लेकिन पंजाब में अभी भी एक ताकत बने हुए हैं क्योंकि वहां उनको पता है कि क्या करना है। तो मूल बात यही है कि विपक्ष में जहां पर नेता अपने मुद्दों पर टिका हुआ है, उस पर कंसिस्टेंट है, वहां उनके लिए ठीक है। लेकिन राहुल गांधी तो फिलहाल लगता है ऐसे जैसे वो राजनीति अभी भी समझने को तैयार नहीं।
But it didn't stop with Delhi. The opposition was in for another bitter shock towards the end of 2025. More on that after this break.
Country constantly in election mode, but 2025 was comparatively a lean election year with just 2 regions going to polls. The big electoral test was Bihar and the build-up was quite interesting.
The Congress party took the lead in levelling a series of allegations against the BJP as well as Election Commission of India, claiming they were complicit in manipulating the electoral process in Haryana and Maharashtra. And when the special intensive revision exercise kicked off in Bihar, the Congress saw this as another attempt to rig another election.
Well, after levelling allegations of vote chori in Maharashtra and Haryana and even Karnataka, Rahul Gandhi undertook a voter adhikar yatra in Bihar amid the SIR exercise. But thereafter, his presence in the campaign only acquired some prominence towards the business end of the build-up to the election.
नीतीश जी का चेहरा का प्रयोग हो रहा है। रिमोट कंट्रोल बीजेपी के हाथ में है। आप ये मत सोचिए कि अति पिछड़ों की आवाज उधर सुनाई देती है। 3-4 लोग कंट्रोल करते हैं, बीजेपी कंट्रोल करती है, उनके हाथ में रिमोट कंट्रोलर है और उनको सामाजिक न्याय से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। मैंने प्रधानमंत्री के सामने कहा लोकसभा में कि जाति जनगणना आप करवाइए, एक शब्द नहीं बोले। आप जहां भी देखो, शिक्षा के सिस्टम में देखो, स्वास्थ्य के सिस्टम में देखो, ब्यूरोक्रेसी में देखो, जजेस की लिस्ट निकाल के देखो, नरेंद्र मोदी जी बीजेपी सामाजिक न्याय के खिलाफ है, वो नहीं चाहते।
The BJP and the JDU, despite few internal rumblings, projected a united front. The Congress, however, despite poor electoral record in Bihar, including in 2020, where it won only 19 out of the 70 seats, still was allocated 61 seats this time. The RJD would live, however, to regret this decision. The election was largely fought on the issue of law and order, welfare and development, and on each of these three fronts, the Gathbandhan lost the narrative war.
I think it was more of a victory for the welfare schemes by Nitish. But I could also say that the kind of tsunami which we saw, the landslide which we saw, was also a result of a complete rejection of the promises and the vote chori which was done by both Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi Yadav. I think the people were not just willing to trust the RJD, having given the track record of the Gundaraj governance. And more importantly, Congress party, by contesting in around 61 seats, actually pulled down the Gathbandhan in a big way. And that was the reason behind this landslide of a victory which we saw in Bihar in 2024.
The mandate was overwhelmingly in favor of the NDA. The Congress and the RJD were left shell-shocked, and the India bloc was hurtling towards many believed would be an implosion. Prime Minister Modi would articulate it differently, however. He would talk about a potential split within the Congress as well.
जब से बिहार चुनाव की घोषणा हुई है, तब से हम एक चीज साफ साफ देख रहे हैं। एक तरफ एनडीए है, नीतीश जी, मांझी जी, उपेंद्र जी, चिराग पासवान जी, ये सूझबूझ से भरा हुआ नेतृत्व है। इसको भाजपा की हमारी टीम, दिलीप जी, सम्राट चौधरी जी, विजय सिन्हा जी से और मजबूती मिलती है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ लाठियां भाज रहा महागठबंधन है। ये लोग कैमरे पर आकर कुछ भी बोले, लेकिन पीठ पीछे एक दूसरे की खाल खींच रहे हैं। इस महागठबंधन में, महागठबंधन में अटक दल है, लटक दल है, भटक दल है, झटक दल है और पटक दल है। आरजेडी बीते 2 दशक में कोई चुनाव नहीं जीती, लेकिन अपने अहंकार में अटकी हुई है। इसी अहंकार में इन्होंने जेएमएम को झटक दिया। कांग्रेस 35 साल से बिहार में आरजेडी की पिछलग्गू बनी हुई है। इस बार आरजेडी ने उसको फिर पटक दिया। इन लोगों ने वीआईपी को भी भटका दिया। जो लेप के दल है उनको लटका दिया। साथियों, जब स्वार्थ हावी होता है, लूट खसूट ही लक्ष्य होता है, तो वही होता है जो आरजेडी कांग्रेस वाले कर रहे हैं।
The NDA is currently in power in 19 states and union territories in India. The opposition parties are in power in 10, 3 of which will be going to polls soon. In Tamil Nadu, the BJP improved its vote share, growing it to 11% during the Lok Sabha elections where it led an alliance. However, fighting as part of AIADMK-led alliance in 2026, it remains to be seen how it performs in a state where there is heavy anti-incumbency every 5 years. In Kerala, the BJP's victory in the Thiruvananthapuram civic body polls will come as a major boost ahead of the state elections there. And in West Bengal, where the BJP was pegged back in 2024, the party has now a growing base and has emerged as a principal rival to the TMC.
See, I think 2025 was a year of BJP. Either it was Delhi or even Bihar or even the local body elections in Kerala where they won Thiruvananthapuram mayor. But 2026 is going to be a challenging year for BJP. Now, let's go state by state. First, if you look at Assam, I think BJP and NDA has got a huge advantage as far as Assam is concerned. I think they will be retaining Assam, and we can expect NDA to perform reasonably well, considering the fact that the opposition is not united. AIDUF is going to contest separately, if I'm right, and then MIM might also enter into the fray. So I think Assam should be probably a walk in the park or a breeze for BJP and NDA. But come next to Bengal, as we move towards the west from Assam to Bengal. Bengal at the moment, I think it's a very emotional state. If I'm right, it took, say, probably from 1977 to 2011, which is, 34 years, it took for the left front to be decimated. And then their downfall has been rapid, and it has been a free fall, and there's been a bottomless pit. But in 2026 at Bengal, right now what we see is the Bengal electorate is a very emotional electorate. Predominantly, there are two emotions which are running through as far as Bengali people are concerned. Number one is anger. Number two is fear. Anger against Mamta Didi's governance model, and that is evident because people are not happy with the deliverance. Forget about all other things. One side. But the other side is people are also plagued with fear because considering what happened in 2021 post the results, the kind of violence which was unleashed, I think would they be willing to take that chance of, voting out Trinamool Congress and probably voting for BJP? That's $1 million question. Even what I'm hearing is BJP is able to come into the game as far as Kolkata areas are concerned, Aura, all those places. But can they convert them into seats? Because demography also happens to be a disadvantage for, BJP in Bengal. Now, coming a little down south to Tamil Nadu, before Tamil Nadu, because Tamil Nadu happens to be my state, so let me go to Kerala first. I think Congress can take a lot of advantage, from Kerala because they performed very well in the UDF has performed very well in the local body elections, and it could continue. And I think LDF will still pose a big challenge when it comes to the question of assembly elections. It's not going to be like a breeze for UDF in Kerala. But I think chances are very bright for Congress and UDF to form a government in Kerala in 2026, which is going to be a landmark event. Why I say landmark event is because post 1970s, at least one state in the country was ruled by communists. Either it was Bengal or it was Tripura or it was Kerala. So if Kerala is going to choose UDF instead of LDF, then we are going to see for the first time after 55 years a left Mukt Bharat.
The BJP has now a new working president, Nitin Nabin, and how the party organization functions under his leadership remains to be seen. The Modi-Shah combine has shown that the BJP is a party that reflects, that is willing to course correct and do this better than an opposition that has squandered several opportunities to resurrect itself. 2026 promises to be another power-packed year.
So what does 2026 have in store? West Bengal is certainly going to be a high decibel poll, with many believing that the BJP perhaps has its strongest chance in the last 10 years to successfully challenge Mamata Banerjee. Will the Deepam controversy in Tamil Nadu have an electoral impact? And will the BJP consolidate its gains in Kerala after having won a Lok Sabha parliamentary seat for the first time from the state? And what of the opposition? Will it be able to put a check on its receding national footprint? We will see you again covering all this and more in 2026. Wish you all a very happy new year.